Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls out there? Welcome back into another show of the Sports Buffoons. If you're following along with us here on YouTube, you can see I'm sitting down today, which is very awkward. Normally I'm standing up. I feel better when I stand up, but we're missing Jason JG, so I'm taking his place over here in the chair. Tanner Dawson's here with me. How's it going, my man?
What's going on, guys? How is everybody?
I mean, I hope they're doing well. They need to, like,
Right.
comment, subscribe. I mean, then they can really let us know what they think of us, because we've had some
That'd be
haters
great.
out there in the past on some of our YouTube comments I've seen. I mean, what the heck is going on out here?
Hey,
But,
I'll take the haters. That means they're paying attention.
well, I mean, they have a reason to hate. I mean, because here's what I do: if I don't like someone's show or podcast or YouTube channel, I literally just don't say anything and I leave and never go back. But I'm like, if you're willing to like stay and hang out and like leave a comment, like, cool.
All
Obviously,
you, dude.
obviously, like, it's something that was said or done in the show was like it got to you bad enough to where you felt like you needed to leave a comment. So thank you guys. And by the way, it is at Sports Buffoons on our Twitter handle, Instagram, and YouTube. And then anything else? We have other ones as well, of course.
I mean, we're not live streaming right now, guys. We are taking a pause on that, so I apologize if you look forward to our Wednesdays.
They'll come back.
It'll be back. We're working out some technical issues. We decided this is just a better route right now. But you can find us on all our podcasts on Thursday morning, all the major podcast sites, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, Google, etc. And then also watch us up on YouTube as well. We'll always have that updated as well. So more than happy for you guys to join in, comment. We'll reply right away as well. So just keep an eye out as things kind of change out of the live stream for a minute.
Yeah, we're going to be hitting on a lot of Chiefs and NFL topics today, with Jason being out, obviously our NBA expert. In that case, we might as well fill it in with some football talk. But we are going to talk a little bit of Royals as well. But first, I need to talk about something that sucks even more. The thing that sucks even more than the Royals right now is the goddamn crypto market. I mean, what the hell is going on in the crypto sphere out there? I mean, everyone's running around for weeks on end talking about Doge this, Doge that. The Bitcoin's the king. Bitcoin's the crypto gold, basically, and all this kind of stuff. Elon Musk, you let this guy go out there and send off a couple tweets, and all of a sudden we're going to freak the fuck out and start crashing the market. Ethereum was at $4,000 for a share. It's down to $2,200 right now. Doge is down to 31 cents, and it was at 70 cents at one point.
Yeah.
What is going on? This is amazing, Taylor. What do you think of this crypto crap?
I think it's just the wave we're going through right now. People weren't happy with Elon Musk, so they're putting it to the people. They're putting it to Elon, and they're saying, "Hey, we actually control this market. The whales, right? The big guys. They're like, you don't control anything. It's ours." And we're going to show you, we're going to prove it, and you're going to see how many people bow out, right? And now it's the time, as you see on Twitter all the time, for our Doge people. Hold, baby. Hold and hold. Yes, you're going to be in the negatives. It's all right. Buy in the dips. Buy it now while it's still low, and just watch the scene soar. I think we'll be fine, guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, obviously, and actually, I think you're right about that. I think that maybe the whales are trying to show their power, even though we all know Elon's the true whale. He's going to eventually be a trillionaire.
Hey, you stay patient. Stay patient, right? Elon, I believe it was last week, after our show, he was actually working with the Doge software guys, and they're actually working on trying to make this easier to transfer into currency. So possibly Tesla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tesla,
yeah, potentially that could
potentially
be on the
that could be. I mean, keep seeing Amazon hashtags go up, but I think that's still a long ways away.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're trying to work on to make this thing easier to be able to put into play like that, I think it's a huge win right there.
There was a little rumor, actually, Tanner. I don't even think I told you this or not, but one of the Dogecoin developers actually has been working with Elon Musk since 2019, actually. So Elon's actually liked Dogecoin a lot for a long time. This is nothing new to him whatsoever. He's a fanboy of this whole thing, and I think if he wants it to be successful, it will. But I'm not even concerned about Doge right now. I'm not concerned about Doge in particular. Obviously, we like Dogecoin. We think it's going to have a potential future here in the world as a cryptocurrency, as basically your average human's form of online payment. I think it could be coming towards you sometime in the next few years. But like the whole thing, like I mean, all the other ones, if you guys had stock or whatever in XRP or Polkadot or Bitcoin Cash or Chainlink, they're all down over 40% right now. I mean, that's insane to think about. But I don't know. I think that it's just a matter of time. And really this is a great time to buy. If you have money to use towards this or to buy in, with it being the market being down like this, because this will swing back around. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of, can you be patient and hold on, and it's going to be okay. It's going to all turn around. And, it might take 2 years to really see a great profit on your investments. But, that's why they're investments. That's why it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Like I told you guys a month ago about the Doge. Never was a get-rich-quick scheme. It's all about thinking about long-term.
Patience,
sticking
guys.
with it.
Patience.
And eventually when that Ethereum or Cardano even, went down to $1 today. Went up 99 cents today. And Cardano eventually is going to be close to the same market cap as Ethereum, which means Cardano is going to probably go up at least 6 times its current market cap. So if you were to get into Cardano now, which is going to be a very friendly crypto to be involved with, you're going to see great returns on that investment over time, without a doubt. It'll be matching close to the returns you get with Ethereum in the next probably year.
In the wise words of Yoda, patience you must have. So
patience you must have. We'll get over it. We just needed to rant for a minute because we woke up this morning. Actually, we were up last night, and
we were up last.
It was like midnight, and I look at my Robinhood account, which I know it's garbage. We should all be using something different, but it was getting ugly early on. Went to bed, woke up again, checked it again, and I woke up and I said, "Holy bleep!" I guess I already said fuck. So holy fuck. It was like, damn, that was crazy. Like to see it do that quick and just drop. And 8 a.m.
It did get up to 40 cents today. And then now we're at 31.
Yeah, it's sitting at 31 cents at the moment. I hope by the time you guys on YouTube or even Spotify in the morning listen to this, I hope that these numbers we're telling you have all been flipped around, because that would be awesome for me to just be ranting and then next thing you know, it's all going the right way for us. I think we'll just have to wait it out, and things will come along. But most importantly, you guys, obviously, as you guys know, we are based out of Overland Park or Lenexa, Johnson County, Kansas, and we need to talk some Royals because it is still Royal season.
Yes.
They're 19-22 is their current record. It is raining at the moment while we sit here, and the game could be rained out, but I think right now it's going to be fine. They're leading at the moment 2-1.
No, it's 2-2.
Never mind, it's 2-2. That's not a surprise though.
Just blew a run here.
But here's the thing. The Royals obviously had a great beginning of the season, looked like the true spring training team that we saw early on, and then over the past 2 weeks, it got ugly fast. I mean, they ended up losing, I think, 11 games in a row. Is that right, Tanner?
That was rough, yep.
11 games in a row. And a lot of it, to me, just comes down to pitching, as I always feared all along was pitching going into the year. We did have a couple guys in the batting lineup who've really shot the bed. All three. Hunter Dozier went on a streak at one point where I think he was over 30 or somewhere around there.
Right around that, yep.
He's only got 16 hits on the entire season out of 115 at-bats. That's not good, guys. That's just not good whatsoever. Long to go with, 37 strikeouts. So, Whit Merrifield also not playing up to his potential at the moment.
Yep.
Even though we all love Whit, we all know Whit is a great player, and I think that those numbers will switch over as time goes on. Good news is guys like Andrew Benintendi have been playing great lately. So he's, a guy that started off cold, now has gotten hot to where he's actually picking up the game or, getting more involved with the team. And, obviously we're missing guys like Soler, who was a big pop to the order, normally batting around fourth, and he's only got 3 bombs in the season. So that's not a good thing either. But to me, it's all about pitching. Tanner, is there anything we can, look forward to as the remainder of the season rolls on? Because we're a quarter of the way through now, and I'm getting scared.
All right, look, the Royals are actually they're making moves, they're doing stuff, right? So I'll just give you a brief rundown real quick. Since last week we talked, the Royals' last 5 games, we are 3-2. That's a positive. That's a winning record. Okay, we that includes a 2-0 shutout yesterday, Tuesday, versus Milwaukee, and that was thanks to Chris Bubick, who is our new fifth man starter, right? So Chris did struggle out of the bullpen throughout May, for most of May, with almost as many walks as Ks. It was not pretty, but the guy took advantage of his first start of the season yesterday, and he was very impressive. He had 6 innings, no runs allowed, 2 walks, 4 Ks, and he kept the Royals kept the Milwaukee exactly where they needed to be, and that was at the zero breaker. So thanks to that and his efforts there, we got there. And hopefully I expect a strong June for him as well as he continues on to carry that 5th start as being the 5th starter. So I'm excited for him. And then just so you as well know, the last 5 games, that also includes a killer win. So we are 3-4 in the season, even though he just gave up a bomb to Jackie Bradley Jr. to make it 2-2 today. We'll be all right. Recently activated, we got Kyle Zimmer back from the IL, so he is good bullpen support as well for that. We got another solid guy back. Alberto Mondesi, who we've been missing all season long, is sent to the AAA for rehab assignment. That means he just got done with AA. He is on his way. I would expect to see his action start in June, and that's going to be a great relief in the batting to get rid of Nicky Lopez.
Seems like that injury took way longer than it should have, Tanner.
No, sometimes those injuries are fluky, right? It can take certain players certain time.
And he needs to stay healthy too.
A guy with an injury past, you can't rush stuff, right? A guy that's always injured some part of the season, you just can't rush it. So I think that injury is fine. I think the way we're doing it is exactly how we should do it. Let's monitor it. Let's be patient with it. And when hopefully by June we can start seeing Alberto Mondesi instead of Nicky Lopez in that lineup, because Lord knows we need it. Bad news: Danny Duffy is out, guys, possibly for a while. So we'll know in the next 5 days.
Maybe for the whole season, correct?
Possibly. It all depends how he feels. So they're going to reevaluate in 5 days, see what he does. Basically, it's a forearm injury.
Is it not his luck, though, just to have his best start to his career ever, and then get injured like that? Like, that just seems like something that would happen to him.
It's a Royal, dude.
It's a Royal, too.
It's a Royal thing.
Good point.
And it sucks for Duffy because the guy, he changed his number to Yordano Matura's number, and like Mike said, he was a great start right off the bat. Probably our ace, if not, you could argue on that.
He's been the best so far.
Yep. So he's gonna be hurting. That's a hurt in the pitching lineup as well. So hopefully it's not a huge deal. He didn't. You said it was on the brighter side of the injury. So luckily no potential Tommy John or anything at the moment. But it does not seem serious. So I don't anticipate a year injury, but I could see him sitting out till maybe after the All-Star break in July. So we'll have to see what happens here in about 5 days. We'll know more then. Basically, it's a forearm injury. He couldn't really get loose. He felt it. He tried playing through it. It just wasn't going to happen. And, with a guy like him who does have an injury history as well, I think he did the right thing. Like, hey, called it out, and let's tackle it now, and maybe we can have it for the second half of the season. So we'll see exactly what happens there.
Yeah, playing the Brewers, Tanner, real quick. Did you notice Lorenzo Cain came back and, the fans obviously gave him a good standing ovation.
Salvi and Whit Merrifield went out, Salvi gave him his big hug and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it gave him a hard time. So
Locan, his career here was obviously very successful.
Yes.
But I still remember going to a Royals game. I think it was the first year they traded for Lorenzo. I think it might have been 2012, 2013, somewhere around there. And just being really excited and, telling my ex at the time, I was just excited to see him play, basically. That's all I cared about was checking out Lorenzo Cain. And, he ended up obviously being a very clutch hitter when it came down to things as the Royals progressed and matured as a team. And it seems like, he was part of that whole foundation of what became a World Series champion.
He was definitely part of the core, I think, for the Royals, for that World Series team alone.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing, I love the way that they all grew up together in a way. Obviously you had, Hosmer and Mike Moustakas and those guys. But, we got Escobar at the same time we got Cain, I believe.
Yeah, who's in the minor leagues.
And Wade Davis came along in that same exact time period, too. So all those guys were involved together to come up at the same time. It was amazing moves back then.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the future looks, right, for the Royals. Maybe we can get something similar to that with some of these young guys we got coming up as well.
Yeah. What else you got for me for Royals, Tanner?
Well, I want to tell you what to expect coming up within this next week, okay? So we got a couple important series coming up because we got to get back on the brighter side of things. hopefully we can finish this Milwaukee series out today with the sweep, 2-game sweep. That'd be great. And then we'll head into Detroit. Now, Detroit yesterday, I believe it was yesterday or Monday, recently had pitcher Spencer Turnbull complete a no-hitter against the Seattle Mariners. And that was the same Seattle Mariners that also had another no-hitter thrown against them, against the Baltimore Orioles. So Seattle Mariners are having a rough year, a rough hitting year in the major leagues, none to say. But Detroit also has been really great lately, and they swept KC about a week ago as well. So I expect the Royals, now that we're 3-2, hopefully 4-2, going in after this game today. We'll have a little bit more of a turning moment, and I think we're going to win the series out in Detroit. I think we're going to come back and beat the bad teams that we're supposed to beat. And so I anticipate we'll have some life again after that series. Now, the issue isn't them. The issue comes with Tampa Bay. So we go to Tampa Bay going into our next show as well. Be about the second game for next Wednesday. Mike Zuzzino actually just hit 2 of the 5 dingers for Tampa on Tuesday versus the Baltimore Orioles. Tampa is 5-0 going into Wednesday with a series sweep of the Mets recently. I expect KC to struggle once again versus Tampa. They're a great team. I think they are definitely going to be playoff bound when it comes time, and it's going to be another ugly series, guys. So hopefully we can minimize damage against that series and get back to some kind of middle ground. But I'm not holding my breath on this one.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's still a long season to go. So I know, obviously, I was a believer in the beginning of the year, and then this streak of losses really tempered my expectations to where I do not any longer see them as a playoff team like I did early on, just because I don't believe in the pitching enough to be sustainable throughout the entire season. So I'm hoping that over time, maybe things can change and they can get to 84, 85 wins and be in the mix at least to get a potential wild card spot. That'd be pretty cool at least.
If we continue to just get back to winning series. Now, I'm not saying sweep series, just winning the series. We'll get back in that contention, and I feel pretty confident. Hopefully, in July after the All-Star break, we'll know exactly where we sit and kind of exactly the projected path, unlike Doge in the crypto world.
Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying. Here's the thing, Tanner. I'm tired of talking about crappy subjects now because we open the show, we talk about crypto and what a crap show that is. We talk about the crappy Royals. I'm ready to talk about things that are successful.
You want to talk about happy things?
I want to talk about happy things that, when I wake up in the morning, that's the reason why I have my morning wood. Honestly, that's one of those, obviously,
There's only one way to get morning wood in the middle of June, or in the middle of May, at the end of May. What way is that?
What? You're talking about Chiefs mini camps?
I'm talking about Chiefs mini camps.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably going to give me a little bit of wood in the morning and give me a little pep in my step just thinking about that alone. We're sitting here towards the end of May now. You understand, Tanner, our training camp opens at the end of July.
Yeah.
We are 2 months away from football beginning again. It's cool being a fan of a successful team like the Chiefs because football season lasts longer now. If you're a fan of the Raiders, for instance, or if you're a fan of the Bengals, you're used to football season ending essentially November, but
correct.
In real life, end of December, basically is when your
first of January,
done.
Essentially. You're
Whereas as a Chiefs fan these days, our seasons don't end anymore until late January or early February, so we get an extra, month and a half on our schedule added on.
Then you have the draft, then you got rookie mini camps and all this happening, and then you go into training camp. There's not really much of a break. Or free agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Free agency.
Of course, yeah. Free agency is in March normally.
There's not much of a break, and the NFL does it right the way they space stuff out. So
no, they know what they're doing. The NFL knows what they're doing. They do it on purpose too, so that way they're always in the news.
That's right.
But as I said, the Chiefs did have a rookie mini camp over the past week, and as of actually yesterday, we got to see a little bit of everybody. Travis Kelce was involved. All the starters were there. It was phase 2 of the OTAs actually, getting back in. Basically doing some weigh-ins. I'm sure, seeing who's in shape, who's out of shape, because we have some guys right now. They're looking a little flabby. We got a few guys looking a little flabby.
Lucas Niang?
Lucas Niang has a flabby figure anyway. The Chiefs.
the guy's
essential
a big
rookie
guy.
that didn't play last year due to COVID. But
Yeah, I mean, but he did work out. He said, I think he said 4 times a week. He might have got a hold of a little bit of KC barbecue during the time off. It's very possible. Ask Derek Nottie and Chris Jones, right? So, but essentially, you're looking at Lucas Niang. He's still quick. He's still very flexible, and the guy is going to be a threat on the field. I have no worries about his weight because he's going to hit training camp. He's already working out with the Chiefs, and you know that training staff right now, that strength team as well, they're going to take care of business with him, and he'll put the effort into it.
yeah, I'm not concerned right now sitting here in May about everyone's physiques. I mean, these guys obviously have the best nutritionists and the best trainers in essentially the entire world. But so obviously, it was kind of interesting looking through some of the pictures. Even Travis Kelce's looking a little like skinny fat almost. I know I shouldn't say that about Travis because the guy's a great shape, but
He's a beast.
I think
man.
that maybe he's been having a few extra Budweisers with Patrick Mahomes along the way. But I'm obviously not going to hate on the guys because they should be going out enjoying their off season, doing whatever they want to do. But yeah, I heard a little bit of rumors about Lucas Niang. Obviously, people talking about that being an issue. I actually compare his body more towards like Willie Roaf. I think they have similar figures. Willie Roaf has, somewhat of a narrow waist actually, but narrow legs. Like his legs are not fat at all. He's got actually very toned thighs and calves and all that. But his upper body, from his midsection to his neck, is just thick and just broad. And Lucas Niang has the exact same figure. And actually, I don't know if you guys are out there, part of Chiefs Planet, but on Chiefs Planet, I posted a picture of them side by side, and you can kind of compare that way as far as their figures, and they look identical as far as the way that their body is shaped. And that's, a lot of that's genetic. That's just genetic. That's just the way that their bodies were made to be as they got older.
Hey, I'll take the same gameplay too.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I'd take
we
that
haven't
all
seen
day.
Lucas Niang yet on the field. Lucas Niang obviously is, yet to be determined how important he's going to be for this team. I mean, this guy, we've been talking about him for now in the last year and a half. But we all have high hopes. But then again, this is a guy that didn't see the field last year at all. He's been working out throughout the offseason. But this will be his first year in a Chiefs uniform when the time rolls around come September. So I'm hoping it works out. But then again, the thing is, Tanner, the Chiefs offensive line is loaded right now with all kinds of potential, all kinds of guys that should step in right away and start. And it'd be cool if Niang could start right away because that means he's doing his job in obviously training camp and the coaches are impressed. But I don't really know if I would say that would be my number one pick to be starting right away. I think Niang should be a backup right tackle, backup right guard, something along those lines to begin. Because, injuries do happen. It's very rare you get an offensive line like we talked about with the 02 to 05 Chiefs O-line that played like 3 years in a row together, almost never missed a snap because all of them were healthy for, consistently for almost 3 years straight. Those guys never got injured. Will Shields played every freaking game. Willie Roaf, almost every freaking game. Casey Wegman, every game. All those guys together were amazing. But as of right now, if I had to really put together the Chiefs offensive line, now that we're talking about it, obviously, you gotta think about Orlando Brown Jr. He's your left tackle. Joe Tooney's your left guard.
Yep.
And then here's where we get a little iffy, Tanner, because I think this is very debatable. I personally think I want to see Creed Humphrey to be the starting center for the team, the rookie out of Oklahoma, who has not given up a sack in, I think, all 3 years of starting. And I would love to see him to step in day one as a guy who has clearly proven himself and been a mature leader on the field, and someone who even Orlando Brown Jr. recommended to the team at the time as an option that the Chiefs would be looking into. So what do you think? Is Austin Blythe the better option at center, or should we go with Creed Humphrey?
No, so Brett Veach was talking, actually, I think a week ago, and they were talking about Blythe and Creed and everything. And during Blythe's part that he was talking about Blythe, he mentioned the word depth right away. Depth. And that's exactly why they brought in Blythe. It's for depth. I think Creed gets a start. Everybody's already raving that he already looks like a day one starter. They even compared him similar to Rodney Hudson when we brought him in. He didn't start day one with us, but
Mitch Morse did, though.
Mitch Morse did. So Chiefs know how to develop centers quickly, and I think Creed Humphrey is going to be one of those guys that definitely start at center, and he's going to be really big help because I think we go back to a power run game and maybe less of a gunslinger game.
Do you think that maybe Andy Reid pulls more away from the misdirection style, because that's always been his forte as far as play calling goes, is misdirection, obviously lots of play action type misdirection, trickery here and there. And even coaches in the past have made comments about the style the Chiefs run, but I don't give a damn what you think out there. We're beating your ass regardless. We can do, if trickery works, then trickery works. Get the fuck over it. It's the NFL. But I think the Chiefs have a point here, or you have a point about the Chiefs, I should say, because I think that the way this offensive line is built now, it's a bunch of mean, nasty maulers, guys that'll run your ass over.
So you want to talk about Morning Wood, right, and everything? Like Andy Reid wakes up with Morning Wood because he's like, look at my freaking line. They're going to protect Patrick Mahomes, and I'm going to be able to run the game. And it doesn't matter if it's Trey Smith. It doesn't matter if it's the doctor, Kyle Long, Joe Thuney. It doesn't matter who's in that spot. The fact that I got these big guys and that they're going to push people around. So that's the whole point I'd be excited about, is knowing that so much you could do with this offensive line that we did not have in the past with Andy Reid. And the fact that we're so excited about this offensive line, especially after last year, that there is so much that could happen. Like there's so much with the rookies, Niang, Kyle Long coming back. Like these guys are healthy. The thing is, these guys are healthy. A lot of these guys didn't play last year on our line. So now we got healthy guys, we got experienced guys, and we got guys that win.
Yeah,
like, that's I love the chemistry. I love exactly what we're putting together on that line. And I don't know, it's just going to be a total difference maker. And I think it's going to open up Andy Reid playbook even more. And he might put some of those surprises in his pocket and only use them, maybe late in the year.
I mean, depth is the main thing. Like whenever we talk about depth now, because I've always had a problem with that. Ever since Andy Reid came to Kansas City, the Chiefs' offensive line has not had depth. Have we had good offensive lines? Yes, absolutely. There's been moments where the Chiefs' offensive line with Andy Reid was great, but
one goes down.
Exactly.
One go down.
All 5 of them might have been good starters, but if one of them went down, you had the garbage man coming in to replace him, and that was going to be a problem.
Yes.
And especially back in the day when you had guys like Alex Smith at quarterback, he needed all the protection he can get. That was a guy who was a sack taker. He would run into sacks. He didn't have great pocket awareness. He's a guy to run within the system of the play calling. Where luckily, at least Mahomes gives every play a fighting chance because he does have great pocket awareness and he's able to see things develop before they actually happen to him, as far as when it comes to pass rush. So going on to right guard, Tanner, now that we both clarified we both like Creed Humphrey as center, I think that honestly we have Larry Duvernay-Tardif coming back.
Correct.
After being away, the doctor being away due to COVID. And Kyle Long has also been brought in to the team during free agency. But then there's the guy who also started a lot of games last year, Andrew Wiley. Now, when I saw we re-signed him, Tanner texted me that day, 2-3 months ago, whatever it was. And I didn't have very many, clean words to say about it. But then again, I'm not a big hater on him. He's just not my guy to be a starting caliber offensive lineman in the NFL. I do think Kyle Long needs to prove as far as his weight, and because he has had time off, I think there's a chance he could fit better at right tackle instead of right guard. But I would like to see Larry Duvernay-Tardif come back and start day one on this team over Kyle Long and let Kyle Long be the backup.
Actually, that's exactly what I got. I got the doctor in the house to start right guard. The guy's now he has a year off. He's healthy. He looks in really great shape as well. And I agree with Kyle Long, but I don't think Kyle Long's going to back him up. I think it's going to be Trey Smith, the rookie, backing him up.
Yeah, good point. Trey Smith could be involved as well, absolutely, because he could play both left guard or right guard.
Right guard, hell, the guy's big enough. He could probably even fit.
I've seen some people, people think that Trey Smith could be mature enough to walk in and be a starter right away, and that's a lot to ask for from a 6th-round pick.
Andy Reid called him a mauler, so yeah,
he is. He's nasty.
Oh my god,
he wants to hurt you basically and make you cry.
So yeah, I could definitely see him being a backup to right guard, if not overtaking that job, if the doctor has some struggle. So
yep.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a guy to watch.
Cut day is going to be very interesting in Chiefs
Oh
Kingdom
my lord!
when we get around to training camp.
And we know how Veach does too. Cut day comes, and then you actually lose more players than you think, and he picks up these guys from other teams, and we're like, why did you pick him up? And then they turn out to be stars. So it's gonna be interesting off season on that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a guy right now slated to be the starting right tackle of this team, Mike Remmers. I low key think Remmers could be a potential cut candidate, actually.
Wiley and Remmers, I think, are.
Yeah, Wiley could be a cut candidate, of course. And even low key, Duvernay Tardif could be if he's not producing well in camp. What they see of him, there's a chance he could. When guys take a year off from the game, coaches are eyeballing them close. I mean, they want to see how much have you lost. What are you still in technique? Are you still doing the proper, blocking combinations and stuff like that? And you still know the playbook. And if something like that slips up, while other guys who are, maybe more hungry, can step in there and make something happen, then the coaches will traditionally go towards those guys who paid more attention and see more development with. Or if you're regressing, coaches have more of an idea to want to cut you. And I'm hoping that's not the case with Duvernay, but I think that Remmers could be on that kind of scale as far as that kind of thing, because if it's not Mike Remmers over there, it's either going to be Lucas Nyang, who we just talked about, or it could be, like I said, Kyle Long, who's played right tackle in the past. And I think that Kyle Long's weight right now being a little lighter than normal, I think that's something to really factor in to make sure he does maintain his weight. Because whenever he had a year off from football, the guy lost probably 50, 60 pounds.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. I don't think at that point he realized how quickly he would come back, maybe, or if he'd come back ever again.
Well, I think the plan was for him to come back, from what he said. But the fact that he was trying to get off that weight that would cause injury, that's been causing injuries to him.
Yeah.
So he wasn't just losing weight to lose weight. He was losing weight to put himself in a better fit stage. And I think that's what really helped him drive him back to the game, aka going to the Chiefs.
Yep. So my pick for right tackle, you guys, is I like the idea of Lucas Nyang starting at right tackle.
Oh man, I think we got our first disagreement. I'm going Kyle Long will be the starting right tackle on day one for the Chiefs regular season. Not to say Nyang won't sneak in at all throughout the season, but I think Kyle Long, I think Andy Reid goes pretty experienced for the moment, and Nyang will eventually get worked in probably mid or late year. So I'm going Kyle Long just for the fact that he has some experience and he can play that position the way his body is set up right now. I think he'd be really great at that as well.
Regardless, there should be a top 10 offensive line for the team. So we are all very much excited to see how that plays out.
I don't think just offensive line, right?
When there's an injury that occurs, we're not going to be as scared as we were before.
It should be a fill-in. Next guy up. And
it's
truly a next guy up. It ain't the scrubs coming in, next guy up. This is hey, you should also be a starter in the league, but you should fill in just fine as well here.
Yep. So, Tanner, I was also looking at some Pro Football Focus that came out as of today, and they released their top 32 quarterbacks in the entire NFL. That's their list. They're using their analytics and their grades and things like that, or whatever they want to put together as a team. And the list started off with Patrick Mahomes number 1 on the list, which I think
everybody probably agrees
should
with.
say yes, we agree. If you don't agree, that's okay too, because there's some debate there. You could talk a little bit about Rodgers or Brady. That's probably the only two guys you could even bring up for that number 1.
Like, who else would you bring up?
But otherwise, after that, I was kind of surprised to see Brady over Rodgers on the list. They went with Mahomes, then they went Brady 2, Rodgers 3rd, Russell Wilson 4th, and then 5th was Deshaun Watson, 6th was Josh Allen. Anything in that top end there that kind of surprised you with their list? Because I think Rodgers actually, if you give Aaron Rodgers, Mike Evans, and Chris Godwin, and Rob Gronkowski, you're looking at breaking the touchdown record, and Tom Brady did great. Let's not discount what Tom Brady did. We're just talking about comparing the two players, or I think if Rodgers had what Tom Brady had, Rodgers is a better quarterback, and Rodgers is putting up better numbers.
If this isn't what it's about, though. It's that who's the best quarterback with the team right now, really? And Tom Brady, we all know, just won the Super Bowl, beat the Kansas City Chiefs, unfortunately. Tom Brady played at an elite status last year, especially through the playoffs and in the Super Bowl as well. The guy, I mean, really until he bows down, he's going to be the guy. And I think 2 is a perfect spot for him. I agree with that. I agree with where Aaron Rodgers is. Aaron Rodgers just can't get past that title game in the playoffs. So I think it stands where it should. I think Tom Brady at 2, Aaron Rodgers at 3. I am perfectly okay with saying Russell Wilson after that. No problems on that one. And then I'd almost swap Deshaun and Josh Allen. Because first off, we don't even know if Deshaun's going to play, for God's sake. But I think Josh Allen last year proved. I guess I don't know. All right, I'm thinking too much political here of if Deshaun starts or not. That's my problem right now. If Deshaun is playing, then I'm fine with it. 5, 6.
You think Watson really does anything with having no weapons over there, though? I mean,
Did he do it last year?
It's going to make him look bad.
Didn't he do that last year? He led the league in passing last year.
In yards?
In yards.
He had to. He had no choice but to throw the ball.
Yeah, like 5, 6, whatever it was. And he, of course, why wouldn't he be 5?
I love Watson. I'm not trying to discredit him. I just think that I would take Allen over Watson in that situation there. I think Allen's a better quarterback with what he has versus Watson trying to. Man. But at the same time, if you gave Watson Stephon Diggs, it's a different conversation.
Correct.
Yeah. Given what they have, I think that Allen's better for that situation.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking for even in the scenario that's going on in the Houston right now.
It could be ugly, man. The Texans are going to be so bad, and Watson's their only good player at this point. It really matters.
It's a joke.
It's going to be scary. I don't think he's going to want to play anyway.
All right, so 1 through 6.
Now, Dak Prescott coming in at 7 on their list. I think that's a little high, personally. I do like Dak. He's a top 10 quarterback to me.
I won't put him at 7.
I think that Lamar Jackson could also be involved in there. I thought that Matt Ryan was a little high at number 9 because we call him Matty Ice, but the truth is the guy also screws up just as much as he does comeback drives.
Correct.
And so I'm not real impressed with him. He's 36 years old. He's always had great talent around him. Julio's been there the whole time, and yet here we are still. It's Matt Ryan has had one truly great MVP season, obviously, when they went to the Super Bowl. But otherwise, the guy's so up and down. And I know personally, being a Matt Ryan fantasy owner year in, year out, it seems like I always get stuck with him, just how frustrating it can be to be a part of Matt Ryan.
Yeah.
I think Ryan Tannehill at 12 is pretty interesting. I think Tannehill is a very good quarterback at this point. I think he's matured the right way, as well as being a part of a great run-first offense where that play action, off of Derrick Henry, it's going to help you a lot in the passing game. Derek Carr at 13 and Kirk Cousins at 14. I think both of those are a little too high, personally.
I agree.
I think that I would put Justin Herbert above them, and he's sitting behind both of them. And then you got and Kyler Murray. I'd put Kyler Murray above both of those guys, too. Mm-hmm. But you got a little boner for Ben Roethlisberger.
What? Just because Big Ben here is the only reason why.
He's the MVP, Tanner.
He's the only reason why Pittsburgh is even in the talk as winning. If it wasn't for Big Ben, they aren't going to win.
You remember last year, Tanner, you said Big Ben at Week 11 was the MVP of the NFL season.
Well, he was 11-0. Why wouldn't you at least at that point? You got to give it to the winning team, right?
Yeah. Wins are all that matters. Just like Jason says, championships are all that matters.
So let's walk back real quick here. Who's your 7 through 10?
Well, my 7 through 10. If I just work
your
with
7 through 10.
Well, I would absolutely rise up without a doubt. I would be putting Herbert actually up there at 7. 8 would then be Kyler Murray for me. And after that, I would fill in with Dak would be number 9. And then my 10 would be Lamar Jackson.
All right, interesting. Because I would go 7, Lamar, 8, Baker, 9 would definitely be Matthew Stafford, and 10 would be Kyler Murray.
I need to see more from Baker, more consistency. The guy's got a ton of talent over there in Cleveland. I just think that it's one of those things where he needs to do, better, more consistently. Ups and downs is something I have a problem with when it comes to quarterbacks. And
hey,
I don't want to have those bad games in the next. You never know what you're going to get. I don't like that kind of play.
We're going to see Week 1 exactly what Baker's been up to. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, then Matt Stafford, they have at number 11 with the Rams, which I think's fine to put him there. There's no problem with that. If you go down the list a little bit as we kind of scroll through, Fitzmagic still is in the top 20. Trevor Lawrence at 21. But, man, dead last was Drew Lock for the Broncos. 32 overall for Pro Football Focus. They send Drew Lock of the Broncos as the worst starting quarterback in the league. That's pretty rough. I mean,
it's also a
don't know.
shame because Drew Lock's not going to be the starter.
Because Teddy's going to be the
Because
starter.
Teddy's going to be the starter.
That's the plan.
So
in your
what are you
eyes.
doing? Putting Teddy in 32 or what? Would Teddy go 32 or would you bump him into like 28?
Well, I have a problem with this anyway because we have above Drew Lock, we have Jalen Hurts, Zach Wilson, Tua Tagovailoa, which I agree with that, and Sam Darnold. So 3 of those guys I would actually put underneath Drew Lock because I want to see more from Jalen Hurts. We haven't seen anything from Zach Wilson, and he's on a really shitty team with the Jets. And then at Sam Darnold with the Panthers, I like Sam, but he still has a lot to prove too. I would put, Drew Lock more towards 28, right after Cam Newton at 27, and then I would fill in the rest of that with Tua would be in there obviously because I do like Tua.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tua is the most legitimate of the guys I just named off. But after that, I mean, your last one, your worst starting quarterback, I got to put at Zach Wilson. Because we need to see something still of Zach Wilson.
I think Jalen
on a
Hurts.
bad team. I think Hurts, he won his first game as a starter last year in Philly.
And
then
1-3.
He
crapped the bed.
Yes, he did. I would put Hurts at 31. So I mean, you could switch them out. I would go
yeah,
one.
Fair.
Either way, you could probably put those 2 at the very bottom. I wouldn't put Drew Lock at the very end. That's just personally not what I would do anyway. I was surprised too to see Justin Fields at 25. So I mean, that means that tells me Pro Football Focus thinks more highly of Justin Fields than they do of Sam Darnold, Tua Tagovailoa, or Zach Wilson.
Yeah, which is crazy.
That's a lot. That's especially
Justin
Tua.
Fields could just be sitting on the bench.
And a Tua Tagovailoa, who was very successful actually coming in to replace Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I thought he played very well at times. I mean, is he a rookie? He was a rookie, yes. So he did have some things that came up. It ended up being a problem. He had 13 turnover-worthy plays last year. That's fine. He's a rookie. He's figuring things out.
That's what happens. But he also did help the Dolphins. He helped lead the Dolphins into a almost playoff spot. So the fact that he was able to kind of help with that as well, outside of Fitzpatrick sitting on the bench. I don't know. I don't like where Tua's sitting at 28. I agree with that. I don't think Justin Fields should be on the roster or on the board because you're not gonna put Andy Dalton where Fields is, right?
Oh, Andy Dalton?
Yeah,
he doesn't exist to me.
No, you're not gonna put him there. He's probably at 33.
Andy Dalton was never meant to be a starting quarterback in the league.
No, it's 33 because you're gonna put somebody else's backup at 32, and then Andy Dalton at 33.
Tanner, I was kind of curious looking over our list here, just real quick before we move on, but the Saints, obviously, they got Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill started 4 games for the team and went 3-1 during that span. The team did. So, I mean, personally, do you want a guy that's a turnover machine, like Jameis Winston, Mr. 30 for 30 himself, 30 touchdowns, 30 picks with the Buccaneers before Tom Brady took over? Or would you trust running a system with Taysom Hill as a quarterback?
I want you to eat this W. I want you to eat this W, baby. Because the guy got eye correction surgery, and it's time for Jameis Winston to make his comeback. I'm going Jameis. I'd go Jameis all day on this one.
Yeah, I mean, one thing for sure, the Saints offense did rank 31st in deep pass attempts last season, only 38 all year long between Drew Brees and Taysom Hill. So, no, they weren't throwing the ball downfield whatsoever. Whereas Jameis Winston, that seems to be what he loves to do the most. That's part of why he throws some interceptions, too, is that he does throw downfield. That'll be something to really watch in the evolution of the Saints offense post Drew Brees, and it's gonna be frustrating, you guys. Out there, if you're a Saints fan, you're gonna get pissed off. You're gonna have a rough, probably this year, probably next year, just quarterback play wise, and it's not gonna be pretty. Obviously, I think the Buccaneers still run that division for at least one more year with Tom. So the Saints are not gonna go, trying to win the NFC South by any means. But I still think that that's a interesting battle to watch, how that plays out between Taysom Hill and Jameis Winston. I'm personally rooting for Taysom Hill. As you know, I'm a big Taysom Hill fan.
You are a big
awesome,
Taysom Hill guy.
But, that remains to be seen how things play out over there. So 2 months from now, we have much more to discuss when it comes to these battles on the field. Tanner, we have something else, one more thing we want to talk about before we wrap up our show today. And that is we have the NBA playoffs, obviously, the play-in tourney is still involved here. We have a lot to talk about as far as the teams who are going to be in versus out and what it means to have a loss, because
Correct.
that's something I'm still trying to figure out from you. You tried to tell me a little bit earlier. Even I'm a little confused. You got to explain something to the people.
I think I've gotten it down finally after seeing it actually in play. So, NBA Play-In Tourney started yesterday, Tuesday, and the Celtics actually clinched the 7th seed by beating the Wizards. And Celtics will move on to play the New Jersey Nets, who are the 2 seed in the East. So that'll be an interesting matchup there. Jason Tatum with 50 points for the Celtics to push him over the edge there. It's about time the guy stepped up, as long as Kemba Walker with 29 points yesterday. Russell Westbrook did have a 20 points and 14 boards. And Bradley Beal also with 22 points and 6 assists. So those guys are playing well, but they will go up against the winner of the Pacers and Hornets. And the Pacers beat the Hornets soundly, may I say, 144 to 117. O'Shea Brissett led the charge for the Pacers with 23 points, and Sabonis with 21 boards as well. So that was actually a pretty impressive beatdown. Pacers have also kind of caught fire towards the end of the season. So Pacers, Wizards, who will win the 8th seed? I believe the Pacers have bigger size and they're more well-rounded as a team. And I think the Pacers beat the Wizards to move into the 8th spot, where they will take on the Philadelphia 76ers in the East. So that's going to be an interesting matchup there. Do you have any? You picked the Celtics first off to win the 7th seed spot, and you got it right.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
you.
I like that. What about the other side? I picked
we'll hit the
Nets.
other side here. Well, yeah, the Nets. That's who they face. So
Okay.
the Nets are 2 seed in the playoff because they can't play together, right?
Yeah.
But I think between the Pacers and Wizards, 76ers won't have a hard time with either team, as they just aren't that great. But I think they'll have more trouble with the Pacers than they will the Wizards.
A lot of times, when questions like this come up, Tanner, I kind of go back to the team that has a better foundation, and I kind of relate that to all sports at times, because a lot of times you'll see a game that maybe a team's down this year more than usual, because we all know the Celtics are well known for winning. Historically they've been a very successful organization, and I think that in the situations when it comes to a team that has a better foundation versus the others in big games or games that matter, I think that's when it's 50-50 coin flip. I just go with the one that has a better history. If it came down, normally I'd go with the Spurs. Yeah. In most cases, I'd go with the Spurs to, go out and win a situation like that, because obviously they are the winningest team in all of sports history, basically. So
correct.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe the Yankees might be higher. Probably not anymore. But that's kind of where I come from, though, as far as picking the Celtics in that situation.
Yeah, but there's been so much drama with the Celtics this year. They talked about firing their coach. Their coach was talking about accepting the deal in college, and nothing happened. Whether that is organizational stability that finally came, but I don't think that's the case. So we're going to see exactly how that goes off season. But Celtics did pass as exactly how they should. They probably should have been a higher seed, but hey, that's the year it is.
Do you think that these play-in games matter, though? You think that it makes any difference whatsoever in the grand scheme of things, or is it just a way for them to get more games in for the fans?
I think it's more ways to get the games in for the fans.
When's the last time, Tanner, you tell me, and the people out there, when's the last time an NBA team who was a 7 or an 8 seed went out and made it to the finals?
I can't recall that.
So
I'd have to look that one up, man.
Sure, it's been a while. Normally with the NBA, it can be very top-heavy, where it's those top 4 teams are normally the top dogs, and
correct,
you're not going to be able to beat them, especially in a series. In one game, sure, but not in a series. This is not going to happen,
Correct.
So
on the other side, right? So we'll jump on the other side. So currently, right now, Memphis Grizzlies and San Antonio Spurs, Jason's Spurs, right, are playing a chance for the 8 seed play-in game. Right now, there are 13 seconds left in the fourth, and Memphis is up 98-93 on the Spurs. So it looks like Memphis is going to go ahead and go on to the next game to play in for that 8 seed, which is no surprise with Ja Morant and everything going on. Let's just click real quick here. We'll get a quick breakdown.
And when is the 7 and 8, Tanner? With the
that'll
Lakers
be Friday's game. The Lakers Golden State play after this today, but Friday will be the 8th or the play-in game for the 8th seed. So DeRozan DeRozan had 20 points. Not too bad for the Spurs leading that charge. And then, really? Valanciunas, the center for the Grizzlies, with 21 points and 21 boards. Talk about going off. And John Morant with 19 points as well. So definitely a Grizzlies win. And so they'll play on Friday, guys. They'll play the loser of the Golden State Warriors and Los Angeles Lakers, which is actually a pretty big key matchup right now.
Yeah, I like that game actually. I mean, obviously I know you like the Lakers and I like the Warriors and all that kind of stuff. And we can talk about Steph Curry at some point down the road again, and the way he finished off with the leading the league in points scored, which is not a surprise.
Correct.
So,
yep, scoring title for Steph Curry.
How many has he had? How many scoring titles at this point?
I think he just had the one.
Seems like he should have more than that. Like the guy is, probably the most natural shooter. He's about as natural as Patrick Mahomes is throwing the deep ball.
Yeah,
so
actually,
it's very similar like that. So I think that's Steph's pretty awesome as far as when it comes to from downtown shots.
I mean, he's double teamed half the time when he shoots too. So that's a whole nother factor into it.
Especially the guy, like, I mean, if you look at his stature and his body size, like, he doesn't have the broadest shoulders. He's not the most muscular. I mean, he looks small. He's bigger. He's bigger than he looks. He looks small, but still just an amazing outside perimeter shooter. But
correct.
That's why I got to go. Warriors got to win that game to me.
Well, I mean, if you look at it too, Los Angeles has been injured for the last month and a half now, and they haven't really played together. They kind of lost a lot of steam as well. Obviously, their backups aren't any good, or else they wouldn't be in this playoff game or playing game. So now that they're all back together, they're healthy. Andre Drummond and Davis and LeBron are all playing together. Obviously, they got more size, they got more playmakers than the Warriors. But Golden State's also on a 6-game win streak, guys. Steph Curry just won the scoring title, so you got to believe that Golden State's going to pull this off. There's too much on fire. Mm-hmm. Now they will need the likes of Andrew Wiggins to step up, because that guy needs to do something big for here, right here.
Who's Andrew Wiggins, Tanner? What is this guy?
Oh, he's a former Jayhawk. I wasn't much of a fan of him, but I do enjoy the fact that he was a Jayhawk. He came from the Timberwolves. He's a good player. He's
not panned out quite, I think.
He's not. He was supposed to be the next big LeBron.
Essentially, that didn't happen at all. So Embiid has turned out well. Besides the injuries, he's done well.
So I think if you get Wiggins to step up, Golden State will definitely pull this off. So this game will play for the 7th seed in the West, and this is to play against the Phoenix Suns. So whoever wins this game tonight will play against the Phoenix Suns. The loser goes on to Friday, faces the Memphis Grizzlies, and the winner of that game will go on and play the Utah Jazz on Sunday.
I like the Suns. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm a believer in the Suns. I think they're going to continue to do well. I think whoever they end up playing between the Lakers and Warriors, I'm going to pick the Suns to win. I think Warriors give them a better fight. I think the Warriors do beat the Lakers, and then the Warriors go against the Suns. And I just think in the end the Suns win that because I feel like that's like an underrated team. Like people just keep overlooking them.
I'm interested to see if this actually comes true too on the Golden State Lakers game. When this comes out on Thursday. So it's going to be kind of interesting. But on our next show, we'll be in the middle of the playoff series happening, so we should know exactly where a lot of these teams are. So we should be about I believe it's almost 3 games deep by the time we start next Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to need Jason JG to break it down for us next week when it comes to the NBA.
If we can't get him in the studio, at least we can get him maybe on the phone or something. So
I was pretty disappointed last week when he told me, though, that the NBA is going to go on until sometime in July.
Right, pretty much up till training camp.
Yeah, he said that, and so basically as soon as basketball's over, football starts, which is great. But I like my break in between there.
Hey,
normally the NBA ends in the middle of June.
For those people that love playoff basketball, it's your time, baby. It's your time. Let's enjoy it because I love playoff basketball. I'll watch it.
I like March Madness. We talked about that quite a bit.
That's what it is. It's basically March Madness in NBA, but except for it's just more games and longer series.
Yes, that's my problem with that.
That's your issue.
I want to cut those 9 games down. We don't need a 5-game series. We could do a 3-game series. I'm cool with that. But you don't need a 5 games. You're just prolonging the process. The better team will win, 2 out of 3, and then you move on. 5-game series is just unnecessary. And then, you get to the finals, and it's a 7-game series. It's like, come on, man. Let's just get the damn deal done and move on with the whole thing. Like, I feel the same thing about, baseball. Although in baseball, of course, they play 3-game series up until the World
the wild
Series.
card, and then you got the wild card's a 1 game, right? And then the next series is a 3, and then you got the 5 and 7, I believe, after that.
I think that's better. I think that's a better way to do it.
So it's more condensed. It's not as long.
Yeah, I don't want every damn series to be 5 games. Like, it's just crazy.
Baseball does play outside versus NBA. They play indoors. So NBA don't care.
No, NBA wants money.
It's either 90
as many games as
degrees or 0
possible.
degrees.
Get your ass on the court and shoot the ball through the hoop.
Yeah.
So that's what the NBA wants.
Hey, it's some exciting time, Mike. That's all I'm gonna say. Enjoy it. Watch some of it because I think you'll like a little bit of playoffs.
You know it's also NHL playoffs too, Tanner?
It is. I got some Minnesota friends.
Maybe I'll have something to talk about next week.
Minnesota and Vegas are playing each other in the playoffs currently.
I've been enjoying NASCAR quite a bit. We've had a lot of different winners throughout the year so far in the NASCAR season, and Truex Jr. still has 3 on the season. He did not finish well last week. Only finished, I think, 20th on that one, which was like his worst race of the whole year, which is crazy. But because he normally finishes, top 10. I've been looking into a lot of, this is random, but Danica Patrick old highlights.
Yeah,
she sucked ass. Like, that girl was a shitty driver. Like, she fits the narrative of a bad woman driver.
So much.
I don't know why. Because did you realize this, Tanner? I looked in the stats today. Danica Patrick never finished top 10 ever.
No, she never did.
She raced for 6 years in NASCAR in the Cup Series.
Never finished top 10.
Never once finished top 10. And not only that, she wrecked 47% of races. 47% of races she had a wreck. Are you kidding me? You suck ass, Danica. And not only that, like, she caused some serious accidents that were unnecessary. And she's also, very self-centered and entitled at times with some of her interviews. She
wasn't liked very well upon the NASCAR community at all.
And at the time, back then when she was racing, I didn't know any different. Like, I didn't care about NASCAR. But now that I've been watching it every single weekend, I'm starting to get more into it.
You're kind of looking back at things.
Yes. Yeah. So I wanted to know, like,
which is fair.
What was all this Danica Patrick praise or craze that was going on? Like, I knew nothing about her other than she dated Aaron Rodgers for a few years.
And
that's all I knew.
That was a disaster.
And so I started looking back at Danica. I'm like, why do people like her or just talk about her? Why was she in commercials? Like, oh, well, because she was a woman in NASCAR. I mean, because otherwise her actual performance on the track was horrible. And anyways, I've learned that over the last couple of weeks, and I've been digging into some Danica stuff. But guys, different topic, different day. I'll talk more NASCAR at some point.
We'll get another round of NASCAR coming in sometime.
Yeah, we'll have something special down the road actually with NASCAR, but that'll be a matter of time. So those of you out there, if anyone cares about NASCAR, then we do have something. We have a special guest that'll eventually come on our show and have something to talk about. So
yes.
Well, Tanner, do you have any final words for the people?
Man, just drop us a like, drop us a comment, guys.
Yeah,
that's all I really want.
Tell us our NBA takes are
tell
garbage.
Us trash. I'm up for it too.
Tell us that we don't have enough subscribers, and tell us, all the kinds of stuff like that.
What else did that guy say?
tell us that our cryptocurrency selections were moronic for that, because we shouldn't even be involved in crypto because that's just stupid and it's a Ponzi scheme. So tell us all the things, all the hot takes, whatever it is in your feelings that you want to get out. We want to hear it so that way we can not give a shit. So with that said, thank you guys for following along. I appreciate all you out there that are listening on Spotify or checking us out on YouTube right now.
Wherever you're listening on.
Yep. So with that said, I will see you guys on the next one.
See you guys.